Hey guys, I'm actually uploading a video now, which is the first time in a while, and I have a mic set up so you guys can actually hear me. I kind of took a little bit of a break from Bridge. I hadn't done many scrims recently or something, so that's kind of why I haven't had any recordings to put out. But I thought I should at least do something. I mean, it's been a while. So yeah, I'm just basically gonna go over a replay here that I played against my friend, just to show you. I just did a stall match just to show you guys how to defend bypasses. This is just a general rule of thumb for when you're not aggroing and they go to a bypass. How far back on the bridge do you have to be? Where do you place yourself so that you're at a safe distance to watch and decide when you want to aggro? So in this situation, when you're looking at it, you know that you're safe by applying the box rule, because what you do is you take the distance between the two players, so here and here, so that's 6 blocks, and then you take the distance downward. So I guess, so then you put 6 blocks downward. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and now you have this box here, this square. And as long as the player that you're trying to defend is within that square, then you are at a safe distance to defend, right? So that would mean that right here, if they were just stationary, and we're both stationary here, I'm okay at chilling there. It's close to the edge since it's kind of close to being out of the square, but it's still doable. Now you'll see, now he drops down lower. So now if you look, his feet are definitely lower than 6 blocks, and this is a dangerous moment. So as soon as they get out of this box, you are in danger, because they are in the better position here. They can just run, and you can't really do much about that. Like if he runs right here, then he's in a, I basically forced a void or to get lucky here. Okay, so as the bypasser here, this was probably not the best play to go upwards, because if you stay down, you stay outside of that square. And me, by going backwards, I'm also lowering myself. And so as he goes up, I'm able to kind of get lucky. But even though I got lucky by him going up and me getting to drop down, he still is here and I'm forced to void. So you can see basically that was a dangerous situation. Ended up in a goal scoring opportunity, even though it wasn't quite done correctly, but that's okay, right? That's the main point you have to understand, is that box there. So for example, let's just find another bypass. Okay, it looks like he's about to bypass. Right here, this situation, is it safe? So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 downwards, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 across. So this is kind of on the edge of the box rule, but it is, with blocks and obstructions here, it's kind of more, it's easier to defend. But even though you can see I do back up immediately because I'm outside of that. So for me, it's become more of a habit, and I'm not saying in game you should just straight up start counting the blocks, but now he drops low, so now this box rule is kind of broken a lot. So this is kind of scary for me, so I am trying to drop down with him. So as I lower myself, I'm making this more of a square again. So basically, as the bypasser, his goal is to try to break that box rule by either pushing forwards or dropping lower, right? Because if he pushes forwards here, let's say he was right here, he would be breaking the box rule just because he's closer to me, or if he was even lower, he could be breaking it. So yeah, so that's your goals as the bypasser, is basically lower and further forwards. And as a defender, basically what that means is you are trying to get yourself lower to them, not like too low, right, but lower to them, and trying to keep distance backwards, okay? So this is obviously a very general rule, and this is about holding them. So this is before you aggro. So why do I aggro here? First of all, the box rule here is a little bit, it's okay. I'm mining out to give myself more mobility. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But now I can see he's going up. Okay, I'm in F5 right here. I notice he's going up. And what does this mean that he's going up? Basically, he's getting higher up to me, which is what I want as the defender. It makes it better to defend. And the reasoning behind that is when the box rule is good enough, I'll try to show you as soon as he, before I jump here, if I can. Basically, what happens is that now that right here, I'm able to aggro him while keeping the box rule intact, okay? So what that means is, well, technically it gets broken for a second because I jump, but if I'm standing right here, this box rule is still kept, right? So 3 down, 3 across. Maybe it's a little bit broken, but he does go up 1 more block. So basically what that means is I can aggro safely because I'm keeping the box rule intact, okay? That doesn't mean that you should only ever aggro when you can get a straight diagonal towards them. There's situations where you have to aggro even if it's stupid, or you do it on purpose to catch them off guard. But you can see I have a straight line down and the box rule is intact. So this is okay to aggro. And the key reason, so not only is the box rule intact, I can aggro, but the second very important part to this is that he has no mobility. Yes, there is this side switch, but it is not, he doesn't have access to it. And on top of it, he's looking down. So I'm basically taking this opportunity to say, I saw an F5, I'm like, okay, I don't think he can get out of there fast enough, and he's in the middle of going up. So I can aggro him and hit him off. So that's exactly what happens, and I'm fine. So let's look at this bypass quick. So the box rule is okay here, but he goes forwards. So I just bowed him, and although that's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, the box rule is barely broken, but it's not really bad enough to make it horrible. The reason that this was a bad idea to aggro is because he has mobility. So he just runs through there, and I'm like, well, damn, and I avoided. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I defended him here. So, yeah, so that's why there's 2 things. You have to have the box rule properly upheld, and then you also have to make sure they don't have good enough mobility. I hope that made sense, the box rule, because a lot of people, they'll just aggro, or they'll be too close. They'll be like, I don't know, he's bypassing in this spot, and they'll just sit here, and they'll say, this is close enough, I can start mining down, when really they can just run past you. Like, so here you can see the bridge is a bit more developed, and there's this huge mess of blocks here, and so he drops really, really low. And you might say, dropping really, really low, what should you do? I should back up and lower my height, because this is like Brock's rule is so terribly broken here. However, I aggro him instead. He drops really low, which basically says, to me, is like, okay, he doesn't have a lot of mobility, there's sort of blocks everywhere. What am I going to do? I basically just going to try to aggro him and try to kill him. If I can kill him, then this dangerous situation is over. I aggro him right away, because he does not have a space to run away to. There's lots of blocks here, and it ends up working. And if I did not aggro him, I'll show you. If I did not aggro him, like right here, if I ran back all the way here, do you see how hard this is to properly find a way to aggro him? Because it'll take me lots of time to lower myself properly, that he can build side switches and slowly make his way forwards. Yes, I could try to do that, but most likely he will develop stronger bypasses. And so since he dropped really low, I'm basically forced to aggro, which is something you can keep in mind. If they drop really low, I would basically say I'm forced to aggro them. So if they drop really low, basically, oftentimes you can just aggro them immediately, and if it doesn't work, then you're no worse off than you were before, because now you're doing the exact same thing you would have if you didn't aggro. The box rule is important, but you can kind of ignore it if they don't have the mobility to actually get somewhere and exploit the fact that they're in a good spot. Or just if they go really low, because they can't exploit that fact, not because they don't have mobility necessarily, but because they can't get to the goal. Okay, so right here you can see that he is bypassing here. He's mining out a tunnel. And I just drop here because I'm pretty sure I know where he is, and I find him. But instead of just immediately aggroing him here, first I'm mining out. So the reason I'm mining out is because if I aggro him, he might be able to block me off. And again, so I think he has enough mobility that I can't necessarily aggro him. So instead I go to create a situation where the box rule is respected, and I start to mine out to get to him. He's here, and I'm able to drop on him and crit him out. So the mobility, creating space for yourself by mining blocks helps you switch sides with them, go up, and there I was able to just mine straight into him. But it's very important that once you get to that spot, you have to create this space to go around. So that should make enough sense. Now the next thing I would like to show you guys is when you're defending a situation, especially on urban, you're going to end up in this spot a lot. When they're on, hold on, I'm just going to go normal speed. When they're on like the side parts here, he's doing a bypass, I try to hit him off, and he lands on this, and he makes this head hitter thing, which is really common and quite strong. So the problem for me here is that he has two entrances. He can go to the right and he can go to the left and mine through. So if I just drop down here, I'm going to get blocked off. He can go up or he can mine through. And if I go here, all he has to do is place a couple blocks and run into the goal. So what I have to do is I have to immediately start mining this. So the reason I'm mining this is because maybe I might be able to place some blocks to block it off. And then also it gives him less space to actually use as a head hitter. So you have to be really careful in these situations for when you drop, because if you drop at the wrong time, you are going to get, you're just going to lose the goal. So what you're looking for in these situations are times where you can either try to hit them out of the head hitter, off, or they just commit somewhere. So if they're trying to commit and to get to the goal, you can drop on them, especially here since I can't place blocks. Or let's say they start placing blocks to mine in, you have to mine into them. Or you know, if they're out of the head hitter and too open, you can just aggro them here. So here, he's right here, and I drop as he's exiting. If I had done this and he hadn't actually committed to exiting the head hitter, then he would just block this off and go here. But if you can have a feel for when they exit the head hitter, that's when you drop on them, and you try to make it easier for yourself by mining through. So I just want to look at this same situation before again, as he makes the head hitter. Yeah. So right here, let's say he doesn't do a commit like this and exit and go too far out of the head hitter. Let's say he just keeps placing back the blocks and making this bigger. What should you do? And really, the way to go about this is you just have to keep sitting there and mining the blocks, because if you get tricked into falling, that should just be an easy goal for them, unless they just completely mess it up. Just to go over quickly what I said, to give you guys a quick summary here. Number one is the box rule. So when someone's bypassing, using that distance between you and the player sideways, and then you take that distance and go downwards. During a game, you just approximate this. You're definitely not counting them or anything. You use that distance to approximate how far back you need to go and how low down you need to go, so that you're in a safe distance from them, so they can't just run and score. From there, you mine out a space to be able to switch sides and stay with them, and you're also slowly mining into them. And then as for aggroing, if you don't end up mining into them, you can aggro if the two conditions are met, usually when the box rule is being upheld as you aggro them, or if they don't have anywhere to go, if they're just kind of sitting there looking menacing but can't really do anything. When they're actually bypassing on the main bridge, the last point that's important is that if they go really low down, or they don't have anywhere to go at all, like you're sure they don't have anywhere to go, you don't really have to care about the box rule. Then, as for situations like this, you just have to mine the head hitters. As soon as they place their head hitters, you gotta mine through them, and if they ever exit the head hitter, you can drop on them. You do have to be careful though when you do that you don't mess it up or get baited down. And if they never exit the head hitter, just keep on mining their blocks until they mess up or they commit somewhere so you can drop on them. Alright, that's all I wanted to say for the video. I hope you guys liked it, and yeah, hopefully you guys were able to learn something, and this helped you guys out. If you do like it, just let me know in the comments, I guess, and I can make more things like this. Just to let you guys know, I'm gonna not be able to record videos for 2 weeks after Thursday, so if I might have a video pre-recorded to release during that time. Otherwise, there's going to be a 2-week break. Yeah, so thanks for watching, guys, and see you next time.